This week we're really going to hammer home understanding, the point of understanding as a private practice owner who your target market is and who your target markets are and how to communicate with them. So let's define it as this. You may, in your reading of private practice, so like if you read Impact, you may come across the term Publix or target market. And what that is, what a target market is who you want to receive your message and who you want to respond to it. So who do you want to attract? And typically when I'm talking with private practice owners, they'll say, well, I'll take anybody or I'll take everybody. Well, that may be true for the time being, especially if because of your marketing efforts right now, if you're in a desperate situation, which we've all been there, and we'll take absolutely anybody who calls our number or walks through the door. But is that really what you're looking for? And let's define first of all who you don't want. So do you want the 30-year history fibromyalgia sufferer with a 20-plus pack year history of smoking, who also has other comorbidities, whether that be cancer or heart disease, a whole bunch of other things going on that are going to prevent her from following through on your plan of care? Is that the type of person you want to attract? Probably not. In our case, we used to advertise and market for vestibular, but our average vestibular patient is like 4 visits and less than 2 codes, because it's usually a 30-minute treatment by the time we do the Dix-Hallpike maneuver or any other canalith repositioning maneuvers. So we quickly found that there was no way that we could even get to the point of break even on a BPPV patient. So we stopped advertising for that. It's not that we don't treat it, it's usually an add-on service, but that's not something that we'll really look to attract in masses. So you have to be very specific and very clear who you don't want to attract. Let me give you an outside example. As one of my quirky business thoughts that I've always had is I was taught at a very early age to make money in what you know how to do. In my case, it's physical therapy. Live on a small percentage of that and then invest the remainder in real estate. And about 10, 11 years ago, I started doing that a lot. And right now I have about a 20,000 square foot commercial building, and I have 3 small vacancies. So each of the vacancies is about 1,200 square feet. And so I, let a realtor run with it for about a year and a half, and we had very poor results, and none of the vacancies were leased. So we had to terminate that relationship, and I started just to study it a little bit, and I was like, well, wouldn't it be cool if we were applying this direct response marketing, the same concepts that I'm using successfully in PT, if I applied that to real estate? So what I did was I have a friend who's a commercial realtor, and I brought him in, and he knows the market extremely, extremely well. And I said, his name's Tommy. I said, Tommy, who are the best? Here's what I'm looking to do. I want to attract the best clientele for this space. We just put a ton of money into it, over $100,000 into this property. Who do I want to attract? And he was kind of scattered in the beginning, and with a few guided questions, he said, basically, you're looking for an attorney, a nursing agency, other healthcare segments, which can include a physical therapist or chiropractors, podiatrist, which we already have in there, or a financial planner. They're your best tenants. They're the least likely to disagree with, we do a gross lease, so they're the least likely to have price resistance, and they also don't bring awkward noises to disturb other tenants, or disturbing noises, and they don't bring disturbing smells like a hair salon would. So we went with these 4, and he listed about 15, but I said, who are the top 4? So we went with the top 4, and I went to a representative at Info USA, and I bought a list of 10-mile radius of every attorney who is around that property. So it ended up being about 400, and we ended up with a list by the time we went through financial planners, the healthcare segment, and nursing agencies. We ended up with a list of about 800. Now here's the deal. I did not send out one letter that was the same for everybody. So a little more sophisticated, a little more work, but I basically took the content of a marketing newsletter that I wrote. It's just a double-sided newsletter, and we used a lot of tricks out of direct response marketing and also scientific advertising, both the books that I've recommended to you in the past. But we took this newsletter, mailed it specifically to our target market, which was attorneys, and then took a second newsletter, mailed it specifically to another target market, which was financial planners, and then took a third letter, mailed it specifically to a third target market, which was the healthcare segment, and then the fourth one was attorneys. So we had attorneys, financial planners, nursing agency, and the healthcare segment. And we got that newsletter out, and we got a response right away. And it didn't focus, our letter did not focus on price and a whole bunch of other things, but really the essence of the message today is that we focused on the market of what we wanted to attract. So it wasn't like, I'll take anybody or I'll take everybody, to lease, I'll take whoever responds. Like that generic message often goes overlooked. So I went through the real estate example, and now we selected that. So in your case, who do you want to come in? I would look at stenosis first. I would look at your neck patient or your back patient, your spine patients are a much better niche for you to attract. However, if I'm going spine, do I put out a general spine letter, or do I make something specifically for stenosis? Do I make something specifically for disc herniation? Do I make something specifically for sciatica? A little bit more work, but it's not this broad general spine package. But if I'm hearing a stenosis message, and I hear, if we go to our sensitivity and specificity studies, if I hear standing, that I have pain with standing and walking, and relief with sitting, that is very specific to me. However, if I'm a 32-year-old male with disc herniation and sciatica down my left leg, that's not going to be my message, so I need a different message. So it all starts with selecting and knowing your market. And going back to the real estate example, we did have different language in for the attorneys than we had for the financial planners, than we had for the nursing agency and the healthcare segment. So a little bit different language and knowing each one of those markets. But it starts with selecting who your market is. And the best way to do that, here's an exercise for you. Off the top of your head, make a list from 1 to 10. So just draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Write that on a sheet of paper, and then write your top 10 patients who you like treating of all time. So and then you can go back and look at what was common about them. So this is your target market when we're talking about patients. Okay, so they probably were family oriented. They probably took your advice and listened to what you were saying, and respected your position as a physical therapist. They probably followed through and were compliant on their plan of care. They probably had a very good outcome. They likely had insurance or an ability to pay and afford your services. There were they likely referred somebody to you. There are characteristics that you're looking for and that you're looking to attract in other people in selecting your ideal target. We can also apply this across the board to physicians and referral sources. You can send out a broad general marketing letter to every single physician in your area. So right now we market to about 800 in our area here. But is it attention referral sources, which is very broad and vanilla, or do we say attention neurologist, attention family physicians, attention orthopedic specialist, attention PACs, physician assistants, attention nurse practitioners, attention OBGYN, attention urologist, attention podiatrist, all across the board. If I'm segmenting my mailing list and coming up with a much more specific message for each one of those niches, I'm going to have a much better outcome. It all, again, starts with deciding who you want to attract and who you don't want to attract, and that is our message for today. Throughout the remainder of this week, I'll have other messages on expanding on some of those concepts, but just realize for right now, you're going to want to write down your top 10 patients of all time, go through, find their commonalities, and that is going to define who you want to attract with your marketing materials to get the best return on your investment of your marketing dollar. Talk to you later this week. Bye.